Hi, welcome to my blog. My name is Tom Shu, and today I'm going to teach you about white balance and what's really going on with white balance. So, you're out in the field and you want to make some pictures and you're under daylight conditions. You can put your white balance on daylight, make some pictures, everything's all good. Frame to frame, your images will be consistent. If you set auto white balance, depending on what information is in the frame, the camera is going to select and set a color temperature and adjust your white balance based on that particular frame. So when you shoot from frame to frame, the colors won't be consistent. You won't have consistent exposures throughout a scene. So they have white balance tools, and I like to use the Color Checker Passport. The Color Checker Passport is this guy right here. It's got all kinds of different tools. It's got color calibration tools, it's got white to black tools, and then it's got these white patch tools. If you notice this right here, we'll zoom in a little bit. If you look at these right here, these are the white balance tools, and there's a person here and here, so these are for portraits, and then there's for landscape, there's these mountains. And if you notice, there's a symbol here, which is a snowflake, that means cool, and with the sun, that means warm. And there's also some pluses here and some minuses here. Okay, so before we get there, I want to go over here to this one. This particular patch on the back of a Color Checker Passport is a white balance aid. What a white balance aid is, it's a color patch that doesn't have any color information in it. It's neutral, which means that all of the color patches between red, green, and blue are equal. So if you say you did 18% gray, it'd be 128, 128, 128. Okay? The red is 128, the green is 128, the blue is 128. So it won't give you any color shifts. So if we look at this image and we select as shot, this was set on the daylight setting with the Canon camera's daylight balance setting. Okay? So I use that before I make my first custom white balance. Okay? So if we go into the post process and we look at the difference between the custom white balance that I created, which was this shot, which I filled the frame with this patch, and then I created a custom white balance. So all of my white balances were based on this color temperature. If I select this tool and I grab that eyedropper, it's telling me that this is the proper white balance. Okay? So you just have to think to yourself, what is the real deal? What is the real and proper color? Is it this, or is it what I shot? This is a lot cooler. So let's just go back to this warm one. Okay? For portraits, I say warm would be better. For landscapes, maybe cooler. So let's look over here in this patch. So I've synced those white balances between this one and this one. And to do that, if I just select this by shift selecting or control clicking, I can select both images and I click sync. With my first one selected, I'm going to check the white balance and I'm going to uncheck everything else. So I check none. I'm going to check white balance, and I'm going to have to do process version. I'll synchronize it, and between these two images, the white balance will match. That warmer white balance will be applied to this image. So if I come up here and I grab my white balance checker tool, and I select this center one, this is more of a neutral, but again, this is for the landscapes. If I choose a blue, it's going to be warmer. The white balance options do exactly the opposite of what you think. If you see these over here on the left, they're warmer. It's going to subtract that from the color and make it cooler. And if I choose a cooler color, like this lighter blue, it's going to make it warmer. So I'll watch what I'm telling you. So we select this one, and the image is warmer. If I select this red one, which is obviously warmer, everything will be cooler. These are all subjective and to taste. Okay, so let's go back and let's Control Z twice and go back to the previous import where we synced them. Now I want to show you these patches down here. White balance again is by being neutral in color. You can white balance correct from black, white, or gray. If I select my eyedropper tool and I select this white patch, do you see it says pick a target neutral? And if you see the numbers down the bottom, it's 78.5, 78.1, and 78.3. That's pretty neutral. It's within 0.4, and all of these are neutral. So let's look at the colors up here. We show 71, 66, and 64. Well, those combinations between red, green, and blue make that more red. So it's going to cool off the image. So look here, if I pick a white balance, even though it's black, it's not going to change anything. And I'll check one here that's gray, and I'll check one here that's white, and the white balance never shifts because these are all neutral colors. There's no change between the red, green, and blue on any of those targets. So we look down here, you see it's 36.8, 36.8, 36.5. That's neutral. It's not going to change anything. But what happens if I grab this blue? You can see the red, green, and blue is not equal. It's not neutral, and it's going to create a warm cast. So I'll come over here and I'll select this red, and you're going to see it really cool off, maybe even turn blue. And there it is, blue. I can predict that because I know what colors we're going to do based on the color cast. So let's go back in and select a neutral-ish target, a white balance target for landscape. And we'll end it right there. I just want to let you know that white balance is based on neutrality between red, green, and blue channel. And we're going to compensate based on whatever lighting condition you're in. We're going to cool it off or warm it up based on your taste. It's best to get a white balance aid to capture white balance and set a custom white balance based on the lighting condition you're in. Dealing with mixed lights is a totally different situation, and you have to use gels to correct for that. And we'll talk about that later in another post. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.